Hello everyone, I am Benjamin. Thanks for clicking on this video, and it is time for another Leet Speak. In today's video, I want to talk about the upcoming Splatoon 3. It was teased in the latest Nintendo Direct, and man, am I excited for that. Basically, I'm just going to touch on a couple of things that I want to see from this third installment, a couple of things that I don't want to see, and I do have a handful of ideas that I think would be really good for the game, but I'm not going to hold my breath. They are just too crazy, and I don't think Nintendo would give us those things. Starting off on a good note, one thing that I definitely want to see more of, I want to see more crazy looking weapons. We kind of already got one with the trailer's debut. We now have what the community is referring to as the Splat Bow, which also apparently has a triple shot, which I think is freaking sick. I want to see more crazy, unique weapons like that. I mean, we've got rollers, snipers. We have all the basic shooter type weapons. I think it's time for some more unique weapons. I'm more of a melee weapon type guy, and so I would like to see more variety in the melee weapon category. Maybe a splat hammer of sorts. Perhaps it gives you super armor. You'll still take damage, obviously, but you will not be interrupted in your animation. And if anybody gets caught in the small blast zone when you finally do swing your hammer, it's insta-splat. You're done. One thing I definitely do not want to see happen: no more Judds. If you've watched my Leet Speak on Bowser's Fury and Super Mario 3D World, you will have found out that I'm not the biggest cat person. Don't really care for them. They're jerks. And though I got nothing against Judd is probably the most chill cat you will ever meet. When Splatoon 2 rolled around, they introduced Little Judd and came up with a whole little backstory for why he now exists. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it. Judd's cool. I like the concept of this cat being cryogenically frozen and being brought back to life in whatever time the Splatoon world takes place. But now there's two. To be fair, the backstory they gave Little Judd does make sense. I just don't like it. I really hope they don't try to come up with a third Judd or even a third animal-like character like Judd. It just seems super shoehorned in, and I would not care for that. Now, these next several points, some good, some bad, they're gonna be interconnected, so try to stay with me on this one. I want the story mode to be more epic. So far, both stories from Splatoon 1 and 2 respectively have been Octarion's bad, DJ Octavio bad, Zapfish missing. And I think the Splatoon universe has a lot more to offer in terms of storytelling. The Sunken Scrolls, which give the world a lot more lore than the actual story does. You can base something off of that. And with the addition of the Octo expansion for Splatoon 2, it really had a much better story to me than the actual main story. Having said that, in order to make this story epic, we definitely do not need DJ Octavio as the main bad guy. I want to see something, some other antagonistic force rise up that would cause the Octarians, the Inklings, and even the Salmon Head, which the trailer does kind of hint at. You got the little buddy guy with his cool little mohawk. I want something to arise that would cause all these species to join forces. A very powerful common threat. Maybe Mr. Grizz, this essentially just a voice from a radio from Splatoon 2 and the Salmon Run game. I don't want to see the Zapfish as a plot point. That's kind of dumb, and I really hope they don't do that a third time. But one idea that I had for this antagonistic force that would be so powerful and would cause all of the species to gather up, I think we might be able to get away with the introduction of a surviving human. I know I kind of shooting myself in the foot because I had complained earlier about there being a third Judd, and quite frankly at this point it would probably be easier to explain the existence of a third Judd versus a human who's somehow been alive this entire time. But I think that would definitely turn the series on its head. It's a bit of a stretch, I get that, but I think we might be able to make that work. Now here's a crazy idea that I would really like to see, but I kind of don't think it's going to happen myself personally. I've noticed with each Splatoon game, they kind of have a theme, both in cosmetics sense and in music sense. So for example, the first one kind of had like a 90s rock to it vibe. The cosmetics, the clothing, the graffiti, the stickers, and some of the music. And in Splatoon 2, it kind of introduced the 90s hip-hop kind of aesthetic and also in the sound. It's most obvious with the designs of Pearl and Marina, who represent Biggie Smalls and Tupac, respectively. Well, if we were to keep up that pattern, so we had the 90s rock and then we had the 90s hip-hop, the next biggest genre that came shortly after that would be nu metal. That would be the heavy metal band accompanied with a rapper of sorts, and the music usually had like a groove feel to it. Think Rage Against the Machine, Linkin Park, Saliva, Limp Bizkit. I understand that a lot of people don't really care for that genre of music anymore, but I think that'd be pretty cool if they went ahead and followed that pattern and included that genre of music, and even just that genre of the scene, the clothing, the visual representation. So for example, I should be able to have my Inkling outfitted, or Octarian outfitted in an Adidas tracksuit a la Korn. I think that'd be great. One more good thing that I would love to see, I want to see straightforward customization in terms of the gear. In the first Splatoon, it was always a gamble. When you leveled up a piece of gear and you got a new ability added to it, it was completely random. You just kind of had to pray to RNGesus and hope for the best, and that was annoying. They kind of sort of tried to rectify that. You can now buy the tickets, or you were able to eat the food or something. I forget, because it's been so long since I've actually played Splatoon 2 multiplayer. But they introduced a new character, and he basically allowed you to kind of influence the outcome of your gear when it leveled up, but it was not a guarantee. I want customization right down to the teeth. If there's a piece of gear that I love the way it looks, I love the color, whatever the case be, I want to be able to put whatever power up, whatever, boost on it. I get why Nintendo did it. They did it so that you'd be prompted to try new gear, get new gear, experiment with other types of gear. I get it. I understand why they did it. But honestly, from a casual player's perspective and from a competitive player's perspective, if there's a piece of gear that you love aesthetically, but the power-ups or the benefits that it has on it are trash, you're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. Someone who's a filthy casual, such as myself, I will probably still use it solely because of the way it looks. But competitively, it's dead in the water, no pun intended. Straightforward customization on gear. It needs to happen, Nintendo. And I got a couple more ideas here. These are more of the shot in the dark ideas, kind of like the whole new metal one I was talking about a second ago. I want to see more crossover material. So, for example, in the first Splatoon, there was the N-Zap, which was essentially a replica of the Nintendo light gun, the Zapper, and that's cool. That, to me, is considered a crossover material. There's also a Squid Girl manga and anime in Japan that I am not qualified to even talk about since I don't know anything about it, but you were able to buy an outfit that was, I believe, a one-to-one creation of the outfit of this character from that show. And again, that's a crossover thing. I would love it, and I'm sure people have been saying this since Splatoon 1 and 2. I'll say it again right here for 3. Give us more crossover stuff. Let there be a weapon that resembles the Flood from Super Mario Sunshine. Give us an ink brush that's the magic paintbrush that Bowser Jr. uses. There are so many possibilities that they could use. Kind of like how Mario Kart's been becoming a bit of a crossover. You got Link, you got the Animal Crossing characters, and Splatoon as well. I would love to see more representation from other media in Splatoon. I think it'd be really cool. And finally, this last one goes out to all the Gen Zers out there. Yeah, I assume you all love Fortnite, which means I assume you all love Battle Royale. I was on the fence about putting this on here, but the more I think about it, the more it just makes sense. I think Splatoon could use an obviously smaller scaled version of a Battle Royale. I think it'd be great because Splatoon has so many different mechanics, hiding in ink, being able to climb up the walls, different loadouts, different powers, etc., etc. I think there's enough there in the internal mechanics of Splatoon to have a half-decent Battle Royale. I don't think it would be, I believe Fortnite's the 50 or 100? I'm not sure. I don't play Fortnite. My apologies. But I think maybe like a 20-person Battle Royale in Splatoon, I think that would work. I think that'd be pretty cool. And because it's a Battle Royale, they would probably be able to implement stages from the story mode, because obviously the story mode stages are really designed like the multiplayer maps, but I think that would be a good excuse to kind of maybe have this hybrid of the multiplayer and the single player elements together. Yeah, and I think that'd be pretty fun. I'd be down to try it. Well, what do you think, guys? These are some of the things that I think Splatoon 3 would really benefit from. Some of them were kind of crazy, like the whole new metal thing. I get it, that's not everyone's jam. Not a fan of Fortnite, but I think Battle Royale would actually be kind of cool in Splatoon. Let me know, what kind of things do you want to see, are you hoping for in the Splatoon 3 when it releases in 2022? Thanks for watching. Have a good one.